So what we were planning to do here was kind of parody Godard, because there's a lot of outside sound, like the leaves are in the wind, the branches, car noises from a bit further away, people walking past, the chirping of birds. So we're especially expecting some kind of motorcycle and loud car engine noises to drown me out now, which kind of brings me to what I think of Godard, which was what I was just asked. I'm a huge fan of odd movies he's done. I think One by One or Sympathy for the Devil is a very nice film. And I absolutely love Vivre sa vie, My Life to Live, from the earlier 60s. But what I felt a lot of what Godard did was kind of take kind of aspects of French experimental cinema from the 50s, particularly lettrist cinema, and kind of commercialise them, make a more kind of commercial realisation, but probably a less interesting realisation. Which was nice when he got to kind of go to Capri or somewhere with Brigitte Bardot. I wouldn't have said no, and get Fritz Lang to appear in your movie, who made a few good movies of his own, a few more good movies than Godard. Godard, what can you say? Some of the films are alright, but I'm not a huge fan. I definitely prefer Chris Marker as far as the new wave goes. And actually it was quite interesting because we've had all this kind of 40th anniversary of 68 stuff going off. And mixed in with what you'd expect, there's been some quite interesting film programming, along with a lot of obvious films. And I went to the Star Auditorium in the Tate, a week ago, something like that. And they were screening the kind of May 68 cine reels by Godard and Marker, which were very interesting to see, made during the actual kind of May uprising in Paris, and kind of film developed in bathtubs and stuff, and kind of screened the next day after being made. But what really fascinated me on this programme was they had a Daniel Pomeroy film, who was one of the people involved with Zanzibar, which again, as people are kind of, they've got familiar with lettrist and situationist filmmaking, you see people looking around for something else to get into. Certainly for the last couple of years I've been very aware of people talking about Zanzibar as this really interesting late 60s film collective where a lot of people who'd not been filmmakers got to make films. So the legend goes that the kind of heiress who financed it all and late became big in the feminist movement would sit at a table at a cafe, and people would come in with their film ideas, and if she liked them she'd just write out the check and they'd have the money to make the film and not have to go through the usual film production bullshit to get the money. So, allegedly one of the Zanzibar films was made while the makers were on acid, and Pomeroy's Vite, or Quick in English, was on at the on with Godard and Marker at the Star Auditorium in the Tate Modern, and so people had sat kind of reverentially through the kind of Godard and fairly quietly through other stuff, and Quick, or Vite, was the last film shown, and a lot of people got very fed up with it because it was this kind of spitting. Pomeroy had gone to the desert after kind of the kind of unions sold out the May 68 movement and kind of made their agreement with de Gaulle and the employers and got their wage increase, and he was like spitting at the world and kind of kicking sand in the desert. And there's some very interesting shots through a telescope of kind of outer space which look primitive now but would have been quite amazing at the time. Not much speech on the soundtrack, so no subtitles or anything. And people just got fed up with it when it was kind of going back to these tracking shots around mountains, shot in Morocco, absolutely amazing stuff, and just watching more and more people kind of walking out the film who'd gone there to see Godard. So, again, that kind of summed it up for me with Godard. It's definitely commercial cinema, and if you're looking for something a little bit more alternative, then you have to go kind of beyond Godard to something else.